What's up, athletes? AJ Conover here with Uphill Goat Coaching. I wanted to talk to you all today about the goal journal, and I know I've gone over this a number of times with a number of you, but I want to have a place where you can refer to it permanently so that you can, if you have questions or kind of forget how to do something, you can come back to this and take a look at it. This goal journal is super fundamental for consistent high performance, especially with the mental side of racing, which deliberately affects and specifically affects the physical aspect of training and racing as well. So I'm going to start with the objective. So the goal journal was, I guess, a little bit of background before I kind of dive into how to do it. But the goal journal was developed by Craig Manning, who is the sports psychologist for the Milwaukee Bucks currently. He's worked with dozens of U.S. Olympic athletes, with Red Bull athletes, with NBA athletes, and he's done some pretty incredible work. His background is as a professional tennis athlete and then coach. He initially started here at BYU. And about a year ago, I took his sports psychology class at BYU. And it has kind of changed a lot of the ways that I have set my goals and thought about the way in which I perform. And it's super, again, this is kind of one of those things that it's the difference, I feel, between maybe a 5th spot and a 1st spot, or a 10th spot and a podium spot. It's these these small mental advantages that end up making all the difference in the world on race day. In fact, it can even be the difference between burnout and winning state championship. It has a really, really substantial and lasting effect. And so I actually started using this journal on my mission with breaking 5 minutes on the mile. My brother had already taken the sports psychology class and kind of walked through the benefits of it and told me how to do it, and I used it on my mission. And it was pretty key and fundamental in me breaking the 5 minute mile on my mission. Especially with a limited amount of time to train, I had to be really mentally strong and mentally present in the decisions I was making in my training, with only 30 minutes a day, and a little more to work with. So here, this is, so I hope that gives you enough sort of motivation or reason to do this, this reflection in this goal journal, because it really is fundamental. And in fact, I think it's probably even better to call it a performance journal, because that's really what it is. It's going to lead to high performance. So step 1 is to figure out what you want. So in fact, what you want long term. This is honestly the hardest part for most people, is to really figure out what they want. And the nice thing is that we're in a cycling environment here. I'm your mountain bike coach, or cycling coach. And so I want your focus for this journal, at least between us, to be about cycling. Of course, I'd be happy if you use this in other aspect of your lives as well, but you may want to keep that personal. I'm happy to support you in whatever you want, but my guess is that your goal will be a race. So maybe you're a junior right now, and your goal is to win state championships your senior year, or maybe you're a senior and it's your goal to win, or maybe it's to finish strong in a NICA race, or to place top 10. Or maybe it's to podium at national championships, qualify for the world championship team. Maybe it's to, maybe you're 14 and it's to ride on the Tour de France, right? It can be any number of things. And you really need to figure out what resonates with you, what is actually going to motivate and inspire you through the not just hard days, but hard periods of training when you may not be super motivated, you might be struggling. You need to remember this goal. And then what you're going to do is actually reverse engineer that goal. So you're going to take it back month by month, all the way to where you are today. So I'll use mine for an example. My goal is to podium at Collegiate Mountain Bike National Championships this year. So that is in October, second weekend in October. So I've broken it back all the way down to when I was in January, or even back to October, where I have spent so much time skiing in Zone 2 in an effort to build a massive foundation or base to be able to race off of. And now I'm going to continue. I just raced a little bit, kind of simulating, checking the systems, checking where I'm at, which I'm pretty happy with. and then I'm going to continue to break it down. So, for example, I'll take you through it. So if I want to podium my collegiate national championships in mid-October, mid-September, I ought to be in pretty good form. I ought to be feeling really good on the bike. My high intensity should be increasing, and I should be winning collegiate races, the Utah collegiate races. I should be winning, and so that I know I'm prepared, right? So that could be my mid-September goal, is to win all the Utah collegiate races. Now let's go to mid-August. This is kind of when intensity will start picking up a lot for me, just a couple of months before my A race of the season. So mid-August, maybe it's to win the Alpine Days race, or to win the first collegiate mountain bike race, or to start executing all of my intervals really well. And then mid-July, maybe that's to continue to focus on a base still, primarily with a little bit of intensity. I'll be racing the Crusher, which is also an important race for me. So maybe it's to get a personal record on the Crusher course. And then now here we are mid-June. So then my next goal in July is to PR the Crusher course. And I'm going to break it down 2 weeks at a time. So in 2 weeks, if I want to be PRing the Crusher course, I should be, one, at my ideal race weight. I should be a really strong climber, because that's absolutely crucial for Crusher racing. And 3, I should have my Crusher bike absolutely dialed and ready to go. So now that gives me fundamental daily things to work on. So let's take the Crusher, because that's kind of where I'm at right now for my next objective. So then for 2 weeks out, I'm going to make my objective hit race weight. So I actually haven't weighed myself in a long time, but I'm probably around 170 pounds right now. And I think it would be really, really good if I could be right around 160 for the Crusher, just because it's a very climbing course where the weight to power ratio is absolutely crucial. So now what am I going to do, right? Every morning I'm going to reach sub 160, and then I'm going to write 3 daily plans to help me get there. So daily plan number 1 could be, and again, your 3 daily plans don't have to be completely correlated to the objective, but they should be correlated to your long-term plan. But with the objective in mind, it could be to eat more vegetables, get consistent sleep, because we know that sleep has a really big effect on our hormonal balances for our desire for hunger and our sense of being full. So getting good sleep is actually crucial for eating the right amount and eating a good, healthy, balanced diet. So consistent sleep. So maybe it's to go to bed by 11, eat more vegetables, go to bed by 11, and stay hydrated. That would be a fantastic daily plan for me to be able to work toward my objective of reaching 160 pounds, so that I can then reach my objective of getting a personal record at the Crusher, so that I can then later down the road reach my objective of podiuming at national championships. So that's kind of the big picture fundamental, right? You're going to need to take some time. You're going to want to maybe write down some thoughts. You're going to want to think about this, talk about it with people, and figure out what your end goal is with all of this. And it doesn't need to be your end goal, but maybe a goal that's at least a few months out, something to guide you kind of a little bit more long term. It doesn't need to be 5 years down the road, but it could be 2 months. 2 months to a year down the road is probably ideal. And then you're going to break that down to every 2 to 3 weeks. So now the daily part. The way I do this is when I start my personal study every morning, I have a journal that I just write 3 things that I want to focus on that day, that 3 daily plan. And then I reflect on 3 things from the day before. So today was Monday. So I reflected from yesterday in my journal today about 3 things that I did well. So this is where a lot of that mental strength and that mental work is going to come in. So much of high performance is mental, and it's often overlooked by so many athletes. And what's happening when you're going to reinforce what you did well. And when you focus on what's going well, it's going to continue to grow. And actually, the more recent research is suggesting that we really need a 5-to-1 ratio of positive to negative. Or proactive to negative, which means focusing on what to do. So the best is if you can think about what actions you did well that will affect your that will directly affect your performance. So this could be things like I carried good speed through corners, or my efficiency on the bike was good. And then think even deeper though. Why was your efficiency good? Oh, I have light hands, or I engaged my core, or I focused on my breathing. So sometimes it's easy to stay surface level, but I would challenge you to ask why. Why did I descend well today? What was it? Was it that I broke well? Was my body positioning good? Was my focus good? Was any, like, think about really what causes you to perform well in specific areas. Maybe it's that you just absolutely killed it on an interval. Don't say I killed it on an interval. Think about, why did I kill it on the interval? Was it something you were thinking about? Was it your efficiency on the bike? Was it your motivation? And then really try to break it down and put one of those things, the underlying reason. And when you do this, it will reinforce all of those things, and then you'll be able to recall it in a much better way. So when race day comes around and you're feeling nervous, you're maybe a little uncertain about your preparation, you can make big recalls, big withdrawals from your confidence bank account, and remember, oh yeah, I know how to do this. And you can remember those specific skills that you have worked on. And then the last thing you're going to do is think about what you can improve on. So again, this isn't something you did bad. It's something you can improve on. We're keeping everything proactive, meaning what to do. So it could be something like eat more, right? You're telling yourself to eat more on the bike. Eat more. It's very actionable and it's focused. Rather than saying I didn't eat, say eat more. I hope that made sense. Or maybe you were struggling with your descents and you want to focus on finding a better flow. So you could put something like get relaxed on the downhill. Again, so it's not don't be sloppy on the downhill. It's find flow, be relaxed, stay focused. You're telling yourself what to do. So I've had a couple of my athletes, a couple of you guys are putting in training peaks on the comments for your ride, the 3 things that you did well during that ride. I would love for all of you to start doing this. I really, really would. It's been so excellent for me to see the things that they're focusing on, and I want all of you to do this. So it's a great place for us to be accountable toward one another, for me to see what kinds of things you're doing well and what kinds of things you're focusing on. You can put the daily plans in there as well. You can also keep that somewhere private if you'd like, but I really, really want you to be doing this. This is absolutely fundamental for you to achieve your mountain bike racing goals and your goals in life. I really would recommend this process to anyone. And so in Training Peaks, on the how did this activity go section, put the 3-to-1 ratio, the 3 things you did well and up to 5, and the 1 thing you want to improve on. And if you do that, I really can promise you that your performance will accelerate, and it will improve dramatically. It's been super fundamental in my consistent performance and in achieving things that I want to do, and it really can do the same thing for you as well. So again, to kind of review quickly and summarize what we've talked about today. Number 1, figure out what you want to do in the next few months to year. Most of you already know this, so this shouldn't really take too much time, but think about it. And remember, write it down. You're going to write it down every day. Step 2, you are going to write down your 3 daily plans every day. So every day you'll write your objective. Every day you'll write your 3 daily plans. The objective will stay the same for the 2 to 3 week period that you set it for. The 3 daily plans will change every day based on what you're doing. And then after your ride, you will go into Training Peaks, and on the how did this activity do section, you will write down 3 things you did well and 1 thing you want to improve on. This is going to take a little bit of adjustment, perhaps getting used to, for those of you who aren't doing it. I know almost all of you, perhaps all of you, have done this at least at some point, but hopefully having that there will be a good reminder, you can rewatch this and remember what to do exactly and really get back on it. I kind of slacked during the earlier part of this year, but I've been back on it recently, and it has been super awesome. For the past month or two, I've been really dialed with my goal setting, and it's been really excellent. So please make sure to start doing this. It will dramatically affect your training and racing. But again, it's something that will take a little bit of getting used to, and it's something that you will get better at, and it will become more effective. So if you have questions, or if you don't feel like you really want to do this, talk to me. Let's figure something out, because I really do want this for you so that you can have successful seasons. But again, text me, comment below if you have any questions.